Right, and we've started the recording. Welcome to today's video, guys. I have made a seminar for you all, so get comfy. It's a Sunday, 8:30 p.m. You're all here with one reason. Well, the same ultimate goal. We're all different, but we have the same ultimate goal: is to improve on trading, make trading our full time, or just have a secondary income. But the end goal is to improve trading. That's the full stop. Now, I've put in the work to help you guys, and I'm really enjoying everything, to be fair, and it's the giving back atmosphere, and the people I'm meeting is really, really cool. So today's video, we're going to go through 20 habits of wealthy traders that I've kind of watched on YouTube and I think is fairly relative. I wrote some of my own as well, and it's just going to be something that I think you guys should potentially consider. And the funny thing is, without kind of like blowing my ego, well, not really blowing the ego, but blowing my own trumpet, is I find that these habits are very similar to something that I consider, and I actually engrave, which I will talk about as I go through them, and you'll understand. For those kind of really struggling trading, or really trying to take it to that next level, I encourage you to get your journal, write some notes, and the PDF is for free. It will be on the resources tab for all the APM people, but if you're on the Telegram and you want it, just message me and I'll send it to you direct. All I ask for is a nice emoji, and remember to subscribe to YouTube. Then, just to plug myself, Telegram, we've hit 500 members. The Instagram is Wannabechamp. YouTube is also Wannabechamp, trying to hit 2K now. We finally hit the 1K. And then Facebook, I've made a new Facebook group. So even though Telegram's doing really well, I have now created a Facebook, because I said if we hit 500, I was thinking, what else could I do? So I've made a Facebook group where we can kind of make charts, send things. So what I do is I send that link at the end of the video, and you're welcome to join. And the last thing I'd like to say is please share it all, because that's the only way I can grow. If you guys, each one of you, share it and then it gets with your friends, I'd really appreciate that support. I spent quite a lot of time creating this content, so I'd really appreciate your support if you could just share it on Facebook or whatever. You have given me your time, so I would appreciate that. So let's start this. The first thing, or the first habit, is wealthy traders are patient with their winning trades and are enormously impatient with their losing trades. Now, I'd like to say that where you're leaving your winners, which you probably heard a lot in the past, is you let your winners run and you cut your losses short. Now, there are, it's going to be a bit painful for some people in terms of realization, but there are some people who hold their trades for so fucking long in a loss where you think, oh no, it's going to come back. Oh, it's going to come back, because in the past it's happened, right? So for example, you take a trade on GBP USD, it's wicked you out, and then it went in your favor and more. The greed happens with you, and then you think, oh, do you know what, the next one, last time I held it wicked out and then took me up and then went up, this time it will happen, this time it will happen. And that is one of the reasons why it can eat your account alive, is where you let you're too patient with your losers and you're impatient with your winners. And then the vice versa is when you're finally in the green, you don't let them run. Either it's paid you 2R, but then it's gone and run 10R, or like 7R, which in some scenarios it can do, just like with DAX. You don't let them run, so therefore the biggest problems is your winners never cover your losses. And that's the biggest thing with risk to reward and ratios and things like that. You need to have your winners killing your losses and much more. So wealthy traders are patient with winning trades and are enormously impatient with losing trades, and I think that's quite a good habit that some people have. Now, on these 20 habits, you don't have to have all of them, but I think there's something that you can consider thinking, do I have that or do I not have that? This is probably my favorite one, because I'm such I'm not a rude person, but in your face and just straight up. They realize that making money is more important than being right. Excuse my French, but I don't give a fuck if I'm right. So I have the bias, like Jason said to me, right? It just, I repeat myself over and over, week on week. I have my bias of up and down. The market's only going to go up or down or sideways. I never trade it sideways. And if it's sideways, I'll just leave it. But I have my bias and my thesis and my trade, plan your trade and trade your plan for the upside and the downside, which I gave you with FTSE, right? If it retests the previous zone and then has a continuation to the downside, I've prepared for that. If it bounces and holds it, then I'll create a new bias when that comes through. I don't give a fuck if I'm right. Ultimately that's your ego talking, and you need to check yourself, your ego. And I apply that a lot in my life with gym as well. Not to be a preaching or a religion on gym, but I always apply that. If you don't check your ego, you can hurt yourself, you can injure yourself, and it's the same in trading. So I really like this one. I'm also going to tell you which ones I do like and which ones I don't like. Now look at charts as picture of where trades are lining up to buy or sell. So going on that is well, this is the technical side of technical analysis of the market ultimately. And this habit is, say, for example, the chart we went through earlier with Dan from the APM, he's aligned, that was a picture, that is literally a picture of the chart. He's prepared for the upside and the downside. So he's prepared both ways. Where is he going to buy and where is he going to sell? He hasn't just gone through and woke up, I think this is going to go through my way. I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to do that. Same thing to the previous habit. I don't give a fuck if he's right or not. He's there to make money. That's the end goal. Fair enough that I always say pips and, if you stick to the procedure, money is the byproduct. But the very, very end goal is the same thing. We do it for the money, right? If you like it, you do all that stuff. They're different excuses, but the end goal is money. And, like I was doing the one-to-ones with my team, you need to understand it, but not let it control you. You need to come to terms with things. You need to be able to, not be ignorant with it, understand it, and then you can control it. It's not everything, but it is something. And if you can be happy without it, you can be even happier with it. It's as sad as it is. It's the truth, because having worry over your family and things like that with not food on the table, money can get rid of those worries. But you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't appreciate your time with your family and you just think about money, then you've also got that wrong too. But anyway, charts are a picture where traders are lining up to buy or sell. So you're prepared either way for the market. Okay. I quite like that one as well. Before they enter any trade, they know exactly where they exit, either a gain or a loss. So that goes down to risk management, right? So that follows on to the one before, where you buy and sell. So that's the entry. The next step is the person is also, same thing with Dan, a lot of praises on Dan's charts today, is that he's potentially, and Mark and whatever, right? If you've already predefined your risk to reward. And I think that's probably the most important thing. You can't just hold it and think, even if it wicks you out, and going off the first habit, right? If you're impatient, you're not impatient with your losers and you're patient with your winners, you don't want to hold them forever. You want to be able to make sure that you know where your risk is going to happen, where your reward's going to happen. And even if it shoots straight past your reward, you still stick to your rules and you exit at 80%, 90%, whatever. And these all slowly add up to, you're probably going to hear me repeat myself on this, but these slowly all add up to plan your trade and trade your plan. It's so easy, yet so difficult. They approach trade number 5 with the same mindset they did at trade number 4, previous losing trades. I love that. Is the fact that no matter what trade you have, revenge trading, over trading, emotional trading, going into the zone and doing shit you shouldn't be doing, this is probably one of the ones that kills so many people who start their Forex career or trading career or anything like that. Is, when you think, oh, no, I'll do one more trade because, I know I'm right. It retested that. I have a continuation. This happened last time. I know it's going to do. The mindset has to be the same. Win or lose, no one gives a fuck. Going back to the previous one again, I don't give a fuck if I'm right or wrong. I'm there to make money. And you can't do that if you don't have the right mindset. I like to say that trading, in terms of technical analysis and fundamental analysis, that's probably the easiest aspect, because all you have to do is read the news, understand it to a common sense level. Technical analysis, you probably learn more than enough from my videos, but can you keep your mindset? Can you keep your fear and greed? Can you keep your emotions and psychology in place when big numbers and small numbers happen? So the approach to trade number 5, or the next trade, you can say, they have the same mindset they did with the previous trade, losing or winning. So no revenge, no oversizing, no over leverage. They use naked charts and focus on zones. Now, for this habit, I ultimately like to say that not everyone uses this, because it might not apply to everyone. However, it did improve my win rate ratio as a personal perspective. Anyway, it did improve my win rate ratio when I started to use TradingView, purely because I have my pro real time, which is the APM one, what I taught on there, and I have them for day trading. However, naked charts just clearly mark out zones, so you know that price action ultimately is going to go from point A to point B, and zones and naked charts can really do that. History repeats itself, and price has to go one way or the other. So ultimately, it's a probability and prediction of each of those, and naked charts can do that. So if you can't read a naked chart, then you can't really read a busy chart either. And the busier it gets, there's just too much information and you end up just confusing yourself, right? I realized a long time ago that being uncomfortable trading is okay. I realized this probably a year after my being profitable, because being uncomfortable is part of the game, and there's many ways you are uncomfortable in trading. For example, when you level up, that is really uncomfortable. You know, for example, you're used to trading 5 lots and then you suddenly go up to 6 and then 7, and next thing you know it's 10 lots. You think, whoa, you know, these numbers are a little bit different, it's a little bit uncomfortable, but as long as you follow the process, the rest will come. That's uncomfortable. You know, studying and getting out your zone and trying to self-develop outside of just trading, right? This is habits too, self-development, learning and trying to become better. That's also uncomfortable too. You got to basically be okay not being okay and come to terms with it. And that's also part of the emotional side as well, which there is a habit about emotions, if I believe right. The markets are their workplace. They are a participant, not a non-looker. So what this ultimately means is it's a business. You know, you got to approach this as your own business. And I think another breakthrough that I had is that the markets really, well, trading really changed for me. I had a few breakthroughs. So compound was one, not wanting money was another, and then workplace and business was another, right? And when you treat it as your business and when you're owner of a business, what's the biggest thing that you try to do? You try to like lean out. One of the terms anyway is lean out your business. Leaning out mean, you know, reducing your losses, increasing your winning, trying to make as much margin on your profits. You know, for example, if you're marketing, you want to make sure that the marketing's on point. For example, if you're selling candles, let's just say you want to try and reduce the cost of the materials, things like that, right? And if you approach your business like that, why do you not approach your trading like that? How can you increase your probability? What are your best trading days? What are your best trading months? You know, how can you increase your profitability? What's going right? What's not going right? Treat it as a business. It's your workplace. You know, you're not just going to go on the market, look at the market and just take a picture, buy and sell, and then that's done for the day. So it is a workplace. It is a job, but it can be a passion for a job too. This one's funny. I fucking love this one because how many motherfuckers, excuse my French, tried to pick top and bottoms? I think we've all got to be guilty of this. Even me. It's like, oh yeah, it's gonna reverse it. Jason's agreeing on that. I mean, like, just to take the piss about the beginners that comes and goes, nah, that's it. It's overrun. It's overbought. It's oversold. Like, it's just why would you want to pick top or bottoms? I don't get it. And that also really ties up with, I don't give a shit if I'm right either. You know, it's nice being right, but if you're emotionally attached to yourself to being right, not only is that egotistical, but that's also going to kill your trading account. But picking tops and bottoms is probably even worse. Like, how many times, like, this is another thing I'm a bit passionate about. This one as well is you're like on an uptrend, you're making higher highs, higher lows, and it's on a continuation. It hits a previous zone, like gold, right? Hits a previous zone and it's hit year of the high. We're like, oh, that's it, that's the top, that's done. How is that even the top? Fair enough, it hit a resistance. Potentially it could pull back, but that does not mean it's the top. You should, like, my approach anyway is ride the wave, right? So trade the wave. So if it's going on uptrend, I want to continue on the uptrend too and take what's in between. Ultimately a pullback, I don't take them as often, but I do them. Okay. But why would you want to go against the wave, right? Why would you, like a car who's coming your way, why would you want to just run against the car when you can just tag along with the car? Why are you trying to pick where the car would stop? Why would you, like, I don't understand why you would want to do that. Fair enough. Even though for me, I when I first started, oh yeah, that could be the top and sell. However, it's better when you have that confirmation, right? Because why would you want to pick those positions without having a full plan? So it's something that I think is more the ego side of things, because there's no reason not to counter trade if you want. But on an uptrend, ultimately, you don't want to be having huge trades for a downside trade because you think that's the end of all. But that is quite a funny one because a lot of people think about it. They stop thinking about the market being cheap or expensive. This one's a fun one because I've been a victim of this one, to be fair as well. How many times, if I give you a scenario, have you thought, oh, I can get a better price, I can get a better price, I can get a better price? It's, you know, you've had one bar of confirmation, but it's like, oh, I can get a better price because it will come back down to get this one. Or it does come back down and you think, oh no, it can come down a bit more, I can enter a little bit later, and then the trade's gone. If you know, another, you know, the golden nugget, I guess, and it feels like a bit of a trading course today because I'm giving so much information, is that ultimately, if you know the continuation of or movement of a trade that's going in one way or another, you know the destination is going A to B. It doesn't matter where you start or stop. Ultimately, if your risk to reward and your trade setup's right, it doesn't really matter, right? If the price is expensive, but the thing is, if it is expensive and your risk to reward isn't there, then fair enough. But the cheap side of it, definitely no. As long as it's right with your trade setup, don't worry about it. There's been so many options where I've actually heard loads of people, I missed a trade because I thought it'd come back down. Well, you missed a trade because you were trying to be stingy. So simple answer for this, right? Just have a lower trade side, increase the risk. So for example, well, not increase the risk, increase the stop loss. But as long as the RR's there, it's a win-win situation. But so many people are so against reducing the trade size. I just think it's interesting. It's more expensive missing the trade, I'll tell you that. The markets are their workplace. Oh, we've already got this one. Oh, so that's 19 habits. No, I'm joking. I got extra nuggets at the end of the day. They trade aggressively when they're trading well and modestly when they are not. Do you know what? I cannot say that this habit completely works with me because I'm the same either way. I may take one or two, so it might kind of work with me, but I do know some who absolutely smash it. Let me just get a little bit of water. Right. Example, one of my friends who's a day trader, when he is absolutely smashing it, like I'm talking about, he's in the zone, you feel the market's trending, all your setups are there, he increases his risk. He increases his risk because he knows that the movement's there, he's feeling good, and it happens. Ultimately, the R that's there, so the higher risk to reward, as they say, pays in the long run. Whereas if he knows he's doing shit that day, I do it this way though. I don't trade aggressively when I'm trading well, but I do modestly when I'm not. So I do that side of this habit. Ultimately, if I'm doing bad, I'll just stop. I'll just fuck off, because there's always the biggest thing. Another breakthrough. There's so many breakthroughs in my trading, and you guys will find this as you go through your career. Another one was, I don't need to trade today. Ultimately, you can just come back tomorrow. You can just, you know, go play some golf, go to a gym, tug one out, do whatever you want to do, and you'll be fine. You just enjoy the day and then come back tomorrow. The market's always going to be there. It's been there for what, how many years now? Someone, if anyone knows, 50, 60, 100, I don't even know. So I can guarantee it's going to be there tomorrow. It might blow up tomorrow or something. No one knows what's going to happen, but it's going to be there tomorrow. So make sure you trade well. I wouldn't say trade aggressively when you're trading well, but it is a habit that some people do. For example, some people who make their biggest buck over leverage on certain trades where they've waited so long on, you know, like a friend of mine who traded gold and went from 5 figures to 7 figures, held from 1,300 to the 2,000 marks. Same thing, right? The markets are, yeah. Why have I got that so much? I'll tell you why, because I copied and pasted it. I'll make up for it. I'm sorry. Oh, I guess this is cool because I made these as I was thinking about it. And that goes on to the modesty side of things. The market will always be there tomorrow. So I encourage you guys to think about this. You know, when you're not trading well and you feel like the world's against you, or you've done 3 losses, why do you continue? I know why. I've done it in the past. I'm not going to say that I'm inhuman and I'm a perfect trader. I generally can, you know, connect with you and resonate with you while you do that, because I've done it in the past. But to overcome it and to become, you know, this side of the world and this side of the trading realm, you need to start thinking about these habits, your journal, the courses, the education, whatever it is you want to do, Sundays, Wednesdays, your studying time. You need to realize that all of these are very important. And one of the biggest ones, again, is the market's always open tomorrow. So fair enough, if you like, I think this is a scenario, again, to help you guys open your mind, is a lot of the times you would plan for a trade, you may have either taken it, hit a loss and it went well in your favor, or you missed it, went well in your favor, and then you get pissed off and then you try to get another one because you was like, oh, I had missed the one before, but I know this one's going to work. then you hit a loss, and then your emotions all over the place, and you know, you don't take, and like the previous habit, you don't take the next trade with the same mindset. You need to also realize the market's open tomorrow. So just go away, relax. That's the whole point of trading. I'll tell you what the hardest part of trading is, when you have more time. Like sometimes you have more time to know what to do sometimes. Like I think last week on potentially Thursday or Wednesday, I can't remember, woke up 6, had nothing to do. Generally I had nothing to do. So I was just thinking about my courses or YouTube or something. Can't really go out, can't go on holiday, can't do much because of the world right now. So what could I do? But I did do something. I realized that the market's open tomorrow, so I didn't trade. This is a really good one. They never add to a losing trade ever. Why would you add to a losing trade? For example, it's gone 50 pips minus and you think, oh, I hit a zone, I'm going to add to it. So then it makes back, and then 25 pips, you break even, and then a continuation. Who gives a shit? If you're in a losing trade already, stay in a losing trade, close it, or let it do its thing. Never add to a losing trade. There's nothing else I can say to that. Just don't. If you can't understand why, then I think you need to go back to basics. It's like you're bleeding. You should put a plaster on it before cutting yourself open even more. Just don't do it. Cash is the goal, but never measure of success. Yeah, I think this is quite a cool one. Ultimately, I think it's more a humbling one. I take this habit in a different mindset. Ultimately, you know, money is the end game, cash is the end game, but it's not the measure of success. Just because you've made $1 million doesn't mean you've traded well, because it could have been one trade over leverage. It's the goal. You need to make sure you get there on a compounded, consistent basis. That is the measure of success in trading, because you followed your rules, you've done everything's on the habits, you're consistent, you don't care about what else everyone else is doing, and you focus on your own path. You educate, you elevate, and you get what's rightfully yours. And I promise you, if you work hard, it will come through. If I can do it, I don't see why other people can't. I didn't come from much, but I'm sure you guys have your story as well. They journal and constantly read. This is my favorite one. I added this one. I don't want to hammer it too much, because I'll probably talk about it more than enough, but this is probably one of the most important ones throughout this whole one. All like my one-to-ones with my little team that I'm building at the moment, I make them journal. On the APM, if you join it, I tell you to journal, but whether you do it or not is another thing. But on the one-to-ones, I make them journal. I legit make them handwrite everything. I handwrite everything, because I'll tell you the process of handwriting. Think about this, right? We take so much things for granted. You probably, guys, if you follow me for now, I like to detour a little bit and have a lot of analogies, and this one's going to be one of them. What is the most important thing in the entire world? And like literally in your life right now, what is the most important thing? Think about that for a second. I'll just give you a second to think. What is the most important thing? And I guarantee that most of you won't get the answer, except for the ones that did one-to-one. Family, work, money, wife, kids, all sorts of stuff you probably come up with. I'll tell you what it is. A roof over your head, food, because to keep you alive, you maybe some people thinking, is oxygen, breathing. You wouldn't last 10 seconds without it, or a minute, however long you can hold your breath for, right? Because if you can't breathe, you can't enjoy life. If you can't breathe, you can't do anything. So it's one of the things we all take for granted on a regular basis, unless you meditate, mindfulness or whatever, right? But that's too far detouring. Now, journaling. Funny thing is, when you put your hand to paper, that's a muscle. When you write it, you put in what you're thinking into your muscles to write the word. And when you write the word, you reread it. So it's a complete circle of a cycle. I think that's mind blowing. Ultimately, I genuinely think that is so cool, because, and you know, you could rather take that information and apply it or not. It's your life, my life. I don't give a flying fuck. Ultimately, I mean, I wish the best for every single one of you in here, and I want the best for every single one of you in here. But not, the truth is, and it's going to hurt, is not every one of you in here are going to become traders. It's a simple fact, because it's not that 1%. You could, and I would love that, but the success rate isn't there, because some of you just don't have that drive, or as Eric Thomas say, how bad you want it, right? You might want something else more than you want trading. You might want something else, right? And look, trading is not the only way to become financially free. You can do anything you want and become successful at McDonald's, real estate, and things like that. But anyway, back to this. Journaling is that important. And plus, you don't know how to measure your you know, development unless you're journaling. Because if you don't know what you did last week or last month or last year, I can't even remember what I had for breakfast last week, let alone what I traded sometimes. So journaling helps me with that. Anyway, I don't want to spend too long on that, but that's how important it is to me. Hoping that opened your mind. Constantly reading. I mean, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates both said the same thing. If they had a superpower, what would it be? To read faster. I think that was more than enough for me to understand that I needed to read. They understand their daily emotions. I think this is quite a good one. You know, if you can't come to same with the money side of things. If you can't come to terms with your emotion and you don't understand how you feel, how do you know how you're going to approach the market? If you're sad, angry, upset that morning, you will emulate that in your trading. You really will. So I generally wouldn't overlook that. So journaling, screenshot analysis, screenshot entry, add kind of why you're taking. Yeah. Thanks, Jason, for sharing that. See, these are the things you should consider when you're doing your journaling. So yeah, understand your emotions. Make sure you are in terms with yourself. There's loads of books on it. I think that was another breakthrough I had in my trading. They have a way to gauge fear, greed, and speed of the market. I think this is like a half one. I think this one's so hard, and it's similar to the emotions, but like fear and greed is the killer of like most things, to be fair. Like the greed is the fact that, you know, like for example, most beginner traders can make money. That's the easy part, but then they make big money and then lose it fast and over leverage, etc. And then the ego or whatever it may be. And then the fear is fear of missing out. These are probably two really severe things that can kill your trading. And you really need to have a way to gauge it and understand it. So for me, my FOMO is I have rules to stop that and understand my emotions. The greed is I don't give a fuck what anyone else does, because one of the things I think the greed for me specifically and subjectively and myself is if I see other people making more money than me, I think I can over leverage and things like that. In the past, I would never do that again. I don't care what people make. I'm happy if people make money, but for me, I know I stay in my lane. You know, I know traders that make 8, 7 and 6 figures, and there are traders out there that make even more than that. I'm just trying to make a living from it, enjoy myself, enjoy life, give back, family, kids, all sorts of stuff. The practice reading on the right side of the chart, not just the left. I think it's quite interesting. A lot of people focus on previous data and what happens, and you know, the charts that yet again Dan sent, he had 3 options. And that was practicing reading for the right. I tell you, and probably and potentially in a few months' time, he'll make those more accurate and they'll be better because he's putting the work and the time in. Not just the left. So don't just look at past data. Looking at the left is very important too, but you need to practice on reading the right. Was you right on your analysis? Was you correct going ahead? Was you correct on your plan? Plan your trade and trade your plan. Was you correct? So, you know, these are things you want to kind of be aware of and think, was that right? And that's where the journal comes into. So that's 20 habits. I've actually got a few more. So every wealthy trader has an edge they can explain to their mothers. So I find this one interesting because it's basically like one of the sayings is that if you can't explain it, right, ultimately, if you can't explain something, can you understand it? Does that make sense? So, well, there you go. I'm not doing a very good job of that. I'll tell you that if you don't understand it, is that if you understand something, well, I'm dyslexic, so that's my excuse. But if you understand something to the T, technically you should be able to explain it to someone else. So your edge in trading, is it your emotions? Is it the follow of the process? Is it the market? Is your trade plan? What is it that you can do? And how is your trading strategy work? How do you have your rules? It should be so simple. You should be able to explain it to your mom. And your mom should be able to understand it. She might not understand the full market details, but she should be understand your approach. For example, break retest. And then I just have it for 1 to 3. That's it. How fucking simple is that? Their position size is calculated exactly on risk tolerance. Your risk is always the same. It's probably the most important thing in trading, risk, because why would you over leverage? I guaranteed that if someone stuck to a process and had a 2% with 2% risk every time with a 1 to 3R, you'd make money over 50% win rate. You'd make a 50% return actually. You know, £100 on 5 trades, for example, right? Let's say you make £100. Do quick math, All right, £100. Hopefully, I don't mess up here. Maths is supposed to be my thing. So, 5 trades minus £100 is per trade is your risk tolerance. Okay, £100 the risk. 5 means 500 quid, so minus 500 quid. Yeah. If I win a trade, I make £1,000, right? Because sorry, £200, right? So 200 times 5 is 1,000. So 1,000 minus 500 over 10 trades means 500. So that's £500. Make sense? Should be right because I do that so often. 1 or 2 trades a month can make their month. I love this one because GBPJPY paid my month that month. You know, you don't get them all the time, but if you focus on it, 1 or 2 trades can seriously pay your month, your year, or even your life sometimes if you work hard enough. But if you follow the process, they all slowly come. Just because today's trade was only a 2R and last time you made a 10R, it doesn't matter. Have the same emotions, the same approach. Sooner or later, it will happen. You just got to be patient, work with the markets, and stick to the process. It's actually quite fun, you know, sometimes. A winning trade does not result in taking extra risk. This is ego from people. I'll tell you that. Fucking hell, I've seen too many of these. But how many times have you thought, I'm on a roll, I'm the dog's bollocks, you know, just pretend that's me, I want to be champ, I'm a fucking champion. I just made 5R, I'm about to double my risk size and go again because I'm just on a roll. Then it wins and then you go again. I tell you what, sooner or later you'll blow your account. So stick to the process, be humble, follow yourself, and don't over leverage and overextend. A losing trade doesn't mean they're a loser. Losing trades are part of the game. There's no one with 100% out there, and if they are, they're bullshitting you. I mean, they could have 100% on a week, potentially. That happens. 100% in life, impossible. No one's 100% in life. No one's mistake-free. That's what makes us humans. We make mistakes. That's part of life. But just remember that the winning and losing trade doesn't define how good of a trader you are. It's the process and the end result that defines how good of a trader you are and how you manage and come to terms with that. They trade the reaction, not the news. This is actually quite an interesting one because this can be both ways. Now, ultimately, sometimes news can come positive. For example, say GBP USD had a report for the sterling to do better. Even though it's fundamentally right, sometimes it can go negatively too, which is interesting. If you watch the market more than enough, it has happened. It wicks up to the upside. Okay, it's done what it needed to do because the market data was correct. However, still on the overall upside against GBP USD, the dollar was stronger. It can have a complete reaction to that. And one of the trade setups I used to do was I used to wait for news, have a wick both ways. And if it closed in 5 minutes onto the downside, I have a continuation trade on those. I used to love doing those trades. But as it never became as liquid, the risk was higher as time went on. So I just don't do it no more. They're willing to change sides of the market if it tells them to do so. So this goes back to the very early habits earlier, which is ultimately what, you know, I don't care if I'm right or wrong, or if the market, I assume that the market was going to be onto the upside and it goes down, has a retest, I'll just continue on it. I don't really care, but I'm willing to change my bias to do either way to make sure I match that, to have a continuation, if that makes sense. So you just have to be willing to adapt to and work both ways. And I believe that is all the habits. So I said there's 20, but technically I made 27. That should make up for like the 2 or 3 that I copy and pasted and then the same one come up. So to finish off, this PDF will be available for the APM Resources tab, so for the APM members. If you guys want this PDF, you can just message me. I will write, potentially, I need to do that extra work, but I need to write all of the habits and then copy and paste them and then put them out, and then you can just have that, or you can download the PDF and just have that for free. The last thing I was going to say, this is not supposed to be, but anyway, yeah, I guess there's course APM 1 and APM 2. I think this is just because I copied it from my template. But yeah, what I did want to say is, hope you guys enjoyed that habit video. It's a seminar. If you guys enjoyed that, I'm happy to make more on Sundays. I'll be doing seminars on like Zooms on Sunday, Wednesday, and potentially Friday. Moving forward, I might do a live trading on Friday morning, or even Friday evening. We could do a market review. I'll have a look at that. I'll decide a little bit later. If you guys can do something for me, and obviously you're still watching to the end, is please share the YouTube and the Telegram, because we're at 500 now, and I do want to try and hit 1,000. That's the next goal. So TP1 hit, we hit 500 members. TP2 come in, which is 1,000. So yeah, that's where we're at the moment. And Instagram and Facebook, we've got a Facebook group coming. And I guess what I will do is, because I guess it's there anyway, but we will touch on is the APM 1.0 is only 299, 85-page PDF, 18 hours of video content. Main focus is day trading strategy. There is swing as well, to be fair, but I'll go through all the tools and then you make it yourself. The APM 2.0 is an updated version, and I constantly update it now. So anyone who has requests, I use a lot of TradingView in this one. So swing trading, psychology and trading development is on this. And just to make sure you guys understand, in the APM 2.0, you get the APM 1 with it as well. If you do want access to the folder, I just made it $29.99. There's like all the Zooms, trade reviews, daily question, team talks, ideas, seminars, this PDF, all sorts of PDFs in there. Recording of live sessions, and the Zooms that I've done in the past that I've put on YouTube, not put on YouTube, but put on the resources tab. So that's what it is at the moment. I was going to make the Zooms only for the $29.99, but I thought, you know what, I'll make the Zooms free. I'm not really too bothered. I pay for it anyway. So I was just hoping that the resources folder covers that. So I'm at the break even. So I'd manage it like a trade, I swear. So yeah, if you guys want to, get involved with the APM, let me know. And then there are one-to-one slots. I'm full with the one-to-one slots right now, but I am going to start another date, and there will be like 3 to 4 slots there because I want to make sure that I can get everyone involved. And if you want to ask like testimonials or ask the guys who are in the one-to-ones right now their feedback, I can tell you who they are, and then you can message them directly to ask their feedback. So I'm going to end the YouTube video and then go through questions. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And plenty more YouTube content coming. Wannabechamp out. So just a note, guys, obviously thanks for watching the video. I wanted to make sure that you guys are aware there's 2 links below. This is the Telegram, which I post all my trades and reviews, so if you want to join that, you can basically learn off of these trades and take as you can. It's free information, so I don't see why you wouldn't join. Then the other one is a public channel here, which has quite a few members which are joining now, and it's open to everyone to talk, from beginners to veterans and all types of traders. So yeah, join us on both Telegrams, and I'll see you guys soon. I just want to say, just before this video ends, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if it was helpful, remember to like, share and subscribe and comment. Just helps this YouTube grow a little bit. And if you are interested in learning a little bit more, there's a Telegram link below. So there's 2. So there's a public one where all of the guys watching you guys, we're up to like 400 people, so it'll be good to look back on when we hit even more than 400, for everyone just to share their ideas, talk, everything. It's all positive environment only. And also there's another one where it's a private channel, which is just me sharing all my trade ideas, my charts, my outlook, my lessons, a little bit of my review, everything on that second Telegram. Then there's also preferred brokers. If you guys are looking to open a demo account or a live account, there are links below, or just message me, and that just helps support the channel. So I really appreciate if you guys could use the link and open with my preferred referral link, I guess. So once again, Wannabechamp out, aka Dan DC. Much love. One piece.